Okay, let's go over a couple of agreements you're probably going to want to use with all your outsourced workers. The first one is basically a general agreement that outlines all the details of the job, what hours they're expected to work, what schedule, if they're going to get any kind of bonuses like that 13th month thing for Filipinos, what the benefits are of the job if there are any, so on and so forth. Now, the first thing you're going to notice at the very top of these sample agreements is this important notice. It basically says that the outsourced force coaching program is providing this as an example only. Myself and my company can't be held legally responsible for your use of this agreement in any way. Of course, we'd be nuts to not say that. So obviously seek legal counsel, get advice from a professional to basically, they can take the guts of this and switch it up and change it around and use pieces of it or change things, whatever they feel is best for you and your situation, your company. But I'm providing this as a basic example just so you know what kind of stuff we use and what others are using, so you can then make decisions for yourself or have a kind of an easier road to that once you work with your own attorney or somebody that can help you make those decisions. But basically, where you see your company name is kind of where your name would be, where the worker full name is where the worker's name would be. And there's little things that would need to be changed in here. The amount is based on whatever the salary ends up being, and if you are paying in US dollars. If it's a full-time thing, then you place, you say 40 hours a week. If it's part-time, you say whatever that would be. Schedule Monday through Friday, whatever the times are, whatever the time zone is. You need to state all that and clarify everything. If they're Filipino and you are going to honor that, which you should, and pay the 13th month pay bonus, there's a section for that. And of course, additional earnings and benefits, basically saying they can have up to 10 days of yearly sick leave if they have a medical certificate that you will pay them for up to 10 days if they're sick during that time. And then of course offering 10 days of yearly vacation without pay if they want to take off 10 days at any point in the year. And so you can modify this more or less, whatever you feel is right. This is just a basic example of some of the stuff that we use. And then of course basically just says if you want to take this job and accept it, sign below and then send it back to me by email, and then we're off and running. Or there's a place for them to decline if they decline it, and if that happens, then you can maybe see about rewording some things or changing up some of the benefits or some of the parameters of the job. But that's a basic initial agreement. And then the second agreement, a little more important, what I consider a development agreement. It's also kind of like a NDA, and you'll notice actually looks like I still had our company address in there, so let me change that real quick. But basically, this agreement, of course, it says the same thing at the top, that notice you really need to seek professional legal advice on what to have in here for you. But this is a basic agreement that we use for a lot of stuff, and so do other people. It's kind of a basic agreement. It basically covers a lot of different things. It basically says that the contractor is first and foremost a independent contractor, not an employee. It states what the compensation is and how it's paid. It also states ownership, and this is the most important thing. It basically acknowledges that the contractor and anything they create for you, software, products, content, anything, that the company, your company, owns the rights and entitlement and trademark, copyright, everything to anything they create while they're on the job for you, or any works derived thereof. So it really basically says that anything you're making is mine, because or the company's, because they're being paid for it. So that's in here. There's a confidentiality section, which basically just says that this agreement is binding them to confidentiality, where they're going to be privy to certain accounts or certain sensitive information about the company that shouldn't be shared even after they work for you. They shouldn't share it well beyond the term of their employment with you or being hired as an independent contractor. So there's a section about that. Section again says independent contractor, indemnification, liability, just some standard stuff that can help cover somebody, term and termination, about letting them go and that sort of thing, giving them 30 days notice. There's a little section about non-competes, kind of standard stuff. A lot of this stuff, just to let you know, is in case it ever came down to it, would be kind of very hard to stick, so to speak. It'd be very hard to enforce. But putting it in here at least kind of gives them a heads up that you're serious about what you're doing as a business, and and they need to know that. And so it's a lot of this stuff will kind of cut off in the past any potential problems that may arise, usually because it'll scare them from the beginning not to do anything that puts them at risk with this agreement. But those are two agreements that are attached below this video that you can use for an example. Change them up, give them to an attorney as kind of a base point to go by, and you can use it for your outsourced worker. So an outsourced worker would basically sign both of these in this example before they would start working.